Good job. So I just thought that I'd talk to y'all while I am finishing a custom like upcycled jacket, which I'll show you the finished product and stuff once I'm done. So I put up a reel earlier talking about trauma, right? And basically how people sometimes fall into the trap of invalidating their own traumas based off of the severity of somebody else's trauma, you know. And I feel like that's a common thing because, you know, you might see somebody's trauma that they're going through on a surface level, and it's like, you know, like for example, let's say, you know, you had a good friend of yours that was, dang, this thing is on tight shit. Hold up. Okay, got it. So let's say, you know, you had a friend of yours that is in a physically abusive relationship. So literally they might come up to you all the time, you know, about their issues. They may or may not, but it's physically showing on them, you know, like they might have a black eye or something, or, you know, bruises all over themselves. Visually, it just is like, okay, you're really going through something. And, you know, my sending out my heart to anybody who is going through an unfortunate situation like that. Let me just throw that in there. But I was just using that as an example to where, you know, that might be the scenario with a friend of yours that's going through that situation. However, you know, let's say you might be experiencing some deep depression and it's stemming from something that happened to you, you know, at work or something. Maybe you were being bullied. You know, there's bullying that goes on in the workplace too, right? Whether that be in the workplace or at school or whatever the case may be. And this is just an example. And you're being bullied, but you're not being physically beaten or something like that, but it's literally taking a toll on your mental health. But just because you can't see the issue that you're going through with the bullying, or, you know, being discriminated against, talked about badly, or whatever that scenario is, sometimes, you know, it's easy to look at somebody else's experience. Well, dang, I don't have no bruises on me, I don't have no black eye, you know, I'm not in a position where you can clearly see that I'm going through some shit, you know. It's something more that's internally that I'm going through that I have to talk about, or in order for people to know that it's going on, you know. And it's not healthy, and I feel like it's just fundamentally wrong to compare your traumas and what you're experiencing or what you have experienced in the past to somebody else's trauma and what they've been through, you know, because the reality of all of that is the adverse effects of it could be exactly the same. You know, let's say it's something that happened to you, you know, in childhood, the way you grew up versus the way the next person grew up. You know, just because that person experienced their life a certain way or had to endure certain troubles and traumas, that doesn't negate the fact that you experienced something awful as well, you know. And the same token is just like, you know, don't let yourself or anybody else make you feel like, hey, no, you don't understand what I'm going through. Your trauma isn't like how my trauma is, or, you know, what you're experiencing isn't as bad as what I'm experiencing, when you guys could literally be experiencing the same type of you know, issues that happen based off of your different experiences, you know. So I feel like, I don't know, that happens pretty often or whatever. So I put up a short on my page that, just kind of sums all of that up in a nutshell, and just essentially encouraging people to heal. There's so much value in taking that journey of, healing, because it's like, number one, no, you didn't choose to go through those traumatic experiences, right? You aren't the cause of them. You weren't the reason why that happened. It's awful and it sucks. It sucks that it happened to you, and I'm sorry that it happened to you, and I feel for you having gone through my own set of trauma and experiences as well. But it's one of those things, like, from my own experience, before I even knew what trauma was, and before I even knew that that was something that I had to actually heal from and be intentional about, to be able to really grow through life differently, to not let my past traumas control where I'm at right now. Before I even knew about any of that, it was something deep down that I knew, like, all right, I know I experienced some shit, and it was a point in my life where, like, I was always angry, and I was quick to pop off, you get what I'm saying? And this is speaking when I was, like, in my late teens, early 20s, like, I was in a space where, anybody could get it, you get what I'm saying? And it wasn't like I went out looking for drama or looking for these different issues or whatever, but it was the fact that I had so many things internally that I didn't work through. So every single thing was triggers. The way a person would look at me, the way somebody would talk to me or say a certain thing, it would literally trigger different things within me that would prompt me to be, on a defense, or, being combative, or just, not really kind about situations. You get what I'm saying? And I can look back now on who I was at that point in my life, where I was easily triggered, where all of my traumas were just like freaking controlling me and my outcome in my day-to-day life, whereas, like, now it's like I'm happy that I got to the point where I can look back and really see, like, all right, I've literally grown so much from that, but I was intentional about that. And what prompted those healing journeys was solitude. Like, for example, I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, California, but I moved out of state in around 2014 or whatever. And when I moved out of state, I was traveling a lot across the United States, then traveled the world, et cetera, et cetera. But when I got to a place that I actually settled, getting an apartment and everything, which was in Tampa, Florida, I spent a lot of time alone, because my ex at the time was always gone traveling and stuff like that, or whatever, for work. And then I found myself oftentimes, I was just at home alone. If I wasn't working, I was at home, and I didn't have any friends around me that I could just go to hang out with or whatever. No family near, nothing that I could use as an escape from the different things that I was subconsciously and consciously running from, right? So being put in that level of solitude, it kind of forced me to work through these different issues, and it forced me to really just sit with my thoughts, be with myself, with my feelings, and with that being said, that just kept continuing, and I kept being in situations that forced me to kind of just, living alone and stuff like that or whatever, and being by myself more often. It really just allowed me to go within and really search through things. And on that journey, I met other people that were on their healing journey. So I got recommended books and different things to read, different things to do to cope, you know. So it's a constant journey, and it's not a destination. You know, healing is not a destination like, oh, I'm healed finally, so now I'm good to go. It's like, nah, it's a daily process. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that's the beauty of the thing we call life. You understand? So I just say all that to say, I encourage whoever does watch this and see this, just to, like, you know, don't allow your traumas to control you, you know, to dictate your life and how you go about things. You know, you have the ability to change all of those things. You know, you have the ability to you know, work through them and grow through them. You understand? So yeah, so that's that. I just thought I'd share that because I did post a short, so I just wanted to elaborate on not comparing your trauma to the next person's trauma. So yeah, you know, if you like this video and would like to you know, see more videos as such, please feel free to drop in the comments for your girl. Go ahead, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, share this, like it, comment, and do all that good jazz or whatever, and tap the notification bar too, so you know exactly when I'm getting ready to post another video as well. But yeah, you know, this is therapy free session. You guys can feel free to drop any, you know, things that you feel help you on your healing journey as well, you know, that might benefit somebody else in the comments that's reading it or whatever. And yeah, I'll holla at y'all soon.